Hi there. It's Dean from the Ancient Coin Hour. I posted earlier on YouTube about how I thought maybe it'd be fun to share some of the stuff that I've learned starting a coin business, and I thought maybe others would find that interesting. So I asked the question, and it appears overwhelmingly yes. So just as a background, so a little bit of the bona fides for me. I went to Northern Illinois University, got my undergraduate in business organizational management, and then I got my MBA from Northern Illinois with certificate of leadership. And then since then, I've been pretty successful in the business world, trying to make my way, executive level. I've reached the position of vice president of operations and have hung around in that neighborhood for a long period of time. One of the things that you learn, heavily in business, particularly if you're working in a small business but have a senior title, is you learn a lot about cash, and you learn a lot about trying to make things work with as little as possible. And so I want to preface that. So in my career, many times companies have reached out to me to have me help them solve problems for them. And so I've become kind of a fixer in the business world, or what they call a turnaround guy, somebody that comes in and adjusts the operation so that they're more effective, and then start seeing some profitability after lack of profitability. So I do have a pretty good solid background in business. I am not an accountant. I don't pretend to be, but I know enough to be dangerous, and I know enough about cash flow to make sure that I don't make things very difficult for me as a business owner. So with that being said, just a little bit of background. I took down some notes on what I thought were important keys. I am not the king of video editing. My partner Josh is the king of that, and I am just the talking head. But so in this video, I probably won't do a lot of editing. I'll probably just share. I just want to see if there's interesting feedback, or if nobody cares. But anyway, we'll try to keep it as professional and as interesting as possible, so that we continue make them. But anyway, enough of the introductions. We've spent 2.5 minutes talking about not much. But here's my first thought to you. So people come into coin collecting or coin dealing for a plethora of different reasons. Maybe you have a collection and you want to start parting it out, and then maybe you want to buy some more to or your certain area of collection has kind of been completed and you're ready to move on, and you have to pay for your next collection. That's pretty much where I've kind of come in, is that I want to keep collecting, but there's only so many resources to get the coins that I want. So in order to keep collecting, I move product around and I pick out things that I like and hope others will like it. But there's a way of it's not as easy as saying I sell coins now, sell them to me, or let me sell them to you. It's a little more complicated than that. And so I'll talk a little bit about some of the steps that I went through. We'll keep this short so you don't get bored with this stuff that's not interesting to you. So I'll probably just go over 3 kind of main points that I think are important that you should try to pay attention to before you consider starting a coin business, which I think you can be really successful at if you do it right. And hopefully I've learned enough bad stuff to help you along the way. Now, I do want to preface again, I am a work in progress. I have not reached any level of real success, but I have struggled on my way to making it there. Hopefully that I make it there. But in that struggle, I've learned a lot. And so that's what I want to share with you. So the first thing that I really want you to think about as you're, kind of negotiating in your mind on whether you want to start a coin business or not, and particularly in ancients, and that's the point of reference that I'll use is ancients. But you really have to have a vision, and it's not a I'm just going to sell coins, particularly with ancients, again, because it's a very diverse market. And there's a lot of things that you can go wrong on if you're not careful. One of the things that I think most people get into when they, either they start on the bronze side where there's more volume, higher turn but lower profit. But sometimes that can turn very quickly into Greek silver or gold, uh, and a very different business model that becomes very complicated. So you have to kind of decide what it is you want to do. Now, in business school, they'll talk about where is your core competency? What is it that is success, how to be successful in? Well, if you've been collecting, you've known how to be a collector, and that's totally different. But if you've had a mindset or a business mind towards this, then it's important that you kind of lay out a strategy for what type of coins that you want to sell. So my initial, thing that I want to share to you is that it's important for that to coincide not only with your pocketbook, but also what customers are interested in. Ancient coins are a very difficult market because there isn't like a collective. There isn't a price guide with 10,000 pages of different coins. It's not really a collective. It's really kind of, a little bit of feel. But you have to do it smart because business is about making a profit while you enjoy what you're doing, because otherwise you won't be doing it very long, and we'll end up having debt. So I'm going to cover these three areas. I want to vision, and I want to incorporation and insurance. Those are the first three things that I want to talk about. So again, vision. What does your interest? What do you like? And then does that match up with what the public likes? Now, if you're into rare or ancient coins or kind of low grade to mid grade, unique types and things like that, that's one thing. If you like beautiful Greek coins that are, very highly regarded and very, very pleasing to the eye, that's a different thing. So you have to really kind of analyze what it is that you think you're strong at. What is it that people like? And do those marry up? Because you may not be able to sell what you like, unfortunately. You may sell something that you don't like or don't love. We could put it that way, what you don't love. And so my recommendation is to give that a lot of thought. If your design is, I'm going to start out, I'm going to sell primarily Greek silver, tetradrachms, decadrachms, only the nicest. Well, that costs money. And you're a new business owner, you don't have any cash, right? Unless you've socked away a bunch of money that you're willing to risk on taking a flyer on coins. So that's a difficult way to get into the business. You have to have a lot of cash outlay. And with more expensive coins, you have to be able to turn them fast because your cash is now tied up in these coins. What are you going to do while you wait for those coins to turn? Well, you don't have cash. You can't. You're stuck. So either you got to reduce your prices and hope that somebody will buy it maybe at cost, maybe less, and then it's hard, and that's why a lot of people start selling bronzes because you can move them, at a low cost. Now your margins are very different, but again, that's the kind of thing that you got to think about. So think about what kind of product you want to sell. Is it something that's desirable? And then also, is it something that's available? So one of the most complex parts about ancient coins is that there's an unknown quantity. And so what you have, may be unique in the world so far until it gets dug up, or it may be, very common, right? You have to know what it is that, as a friend of ours, Mike Gasvoda, says, what rings the cash register? And again, it's not necessarily what you like or love. It's what moves. So is there enough product to get that out and sell more, right? You can sell Ptolemy the First tetradrachms until you run out, until you can't find any. So you have to know where your supply is. And if your supply is V coins or eBay or Kinzer coins, it's probably going to be hard to make margin on it because we are dealers and we're making margin. So you stacking up margins becomes very difficult. So you have to kind of have an understanding of what the market is, where you can find it, and where to go. So again, very important. Always, 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 before you assign any money to anything, make sure that you have a vision about what you want to do. Now, that vision can change. I'd write it down. I want to sell, uh, you know, uh, Antioch tetradrachms from Bilin from the 3rd century. That's what I want to sell. Well, there's a lot, and there's a lot of supply, and you can buy them from 100 different places. You can buy them at shows, you can buy them at CGB, you can buy them at VCoins, you can buy them everywhere. So there's a lot, but the problem with that is there's a lot for other people to buy. So you really have to hone in. And so how do you do that? There's a lot of different ways. Certainly joining a Facebook group, kind of like the ancient and medieval coin group that I'm a part of on Facebook. And there's a related sales site on there. Those are good places to kind of find what current market will accept. And then also VCoins is another good place, or MA Shops is another good place to check pricing to see what relative retail is. And then because we have a pretty neat collection of auction histories that are available through several different sources, you can look up the pricing of those coins on AC Search or CNG. There's maybe 5 or 6 different places where you can really look and see the history of coins. So give yourself a chance to really process what you think you can make a profit on, what is available, and what do you think the customer is interested in? Because if you don't marry those 3 up, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and you'll be wondering why this isn't fun. So make sure you have a plan, think out your vision, and try to execute to it. The second thing that I would want to mention is very important. And so as we're in a social media world, coins are, heavy auction, a little less heavy website, and then kind of the wholesale clearinghouses like VCoins and stuff like that. There's some options, but what I think we're all trying to do is find bigger options, different options, new customers, new clients, things of that nature. And so you have to kind of expand beyond our little neighborhood because we're all shopping in the same neighborhood. So you probably want to expand your business beyond, kind of small scale. So where do you want to sell your coins, and how? So before you get there, or at least before you sign up for anything, my next step, so we have vision. Next step would be outlining the business plan, but then I would get incorporated, and you're going to need it. And a lot of people will be like, I don't need that step, or I can be, independently owned and sell on eBay, all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. I recommend if you are going to go into serious dealing, or at least give it a shot, that you incorporate. It's not very expensive, but a lot of these social media sites, or different outlets, VCoins, any of these places that you can sell through, oftentimes require your EIN number or your business license to verify you, so that you can sell broadly. Those numbers kind of differentiate you from an average seller, and these sites will feel like you're more trustworthy if you're a business. If you're a legitimate business with certification and EIN number and all that kind of stuff, then you can be verified. And that's the kind of trust that you need on social media and things like that. So I recommend incorporating. There's a number of different ways you can do it. You can do it yourself. It's pretty inexpensive. I went through a lawyer, again, cheap. I think all in to incorporate and get my federal tax number was $800. Again, that's something that you can charge to the business and write off. at the end of the season or at the end of the year when you file taxes. But I do recommend it. It's easier to do business or easier to keep yourself organized when at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year, you have to report it. And it's a better way to get your mind around how successful your business is. A lot of people don't pay enough attention to that and watch cash walk out the door and don't know what happened, have no organization around it, don't know what your profit margins are, all that kind of stuff. So once you incorporate, you have to, get a license from the state. I have one from the state of Missouri, and then the federal. Then you're kind of golden wherever you want to launch your program. If they need to report taxes off your sales at like Instagram or Facebook, they'll have your EIN report those sales, and that way you're fine on taxes, and you don't have to do that work. But it is important. I know that it seems like maybe it isn't, but I would highly recommend it because in order to work in our 21st century world, you need documentation because there's plenty of people out there that do not have documentation, that are doing stuff on the side. And these websites, these apps, they don't want that. They don't like that. They don't want illegal trading. They want, to comply with the government, and it, it's not a bad thing. And honestly, for those of you who don't know, who have not filed taxes as a business before, generally when you, your first couple of years, or at least your first year, you're probably not going to be profitable. And the federal government doesn't charge taxes on you being not profitable. And you can actually charge off some of your losses, by writing stuff off. And so that's the effective tool of that. So, you can take some of, what's it called, your success and really formalize it through the federal, state, local level. Now, again, not everybody's going to agree with that, but that's just really my opinion. So anyway, the last thing that I would recommend if you're going to become a coin dealer is, and that's just for this session, I'll add more later. The third thing is insurance. So, that's not something I thought about at all, and then you start to, ship stuff in the mail that's worth a lot of money. And there's a lot of different, you can pay for insurance at the USPS, UPS, but it is very expensive and it will cost you. I've sent some very expensive coins, FedEx, USPS, and it has cost me a fortune. And they'll top out. And honestly, if you want to deal with the Postal Service on a claim, go for it. I would not. I would rather have an insurance company. And what you don't think about is the insurance company carry or protects your coins at home, at your safe deposit box, on the road as you're going to a show, at the show, coming back from the show. So it protects you in a lot of ways. And again, it's not a very expensive thing. And it's something that, honestly, if you want a true and honest business, that is a very good way to go. So I use a company called Q Wood. It's very affordable. I think, it depends on what your outlay is, how much money you have invested in coins. And that's really what they mark, or they put your insurance value at. So if you're a dealer and you deal in bronze, all you got is late Roman bronze. And so you're carrying around $5,000 in late Roman bonds trying to sell it. Well, your insurance is going to go, it's not going to be expensive. And probably, they might even say, well, that's not enough but anyway, that's you gotta protect yourself. So, but if you want to, there's so many opportunities for you to be left out in the dry, left out in the rain, mailing a lot of coins that you sell, might go overseas, or maybe you'll restrict that. But a lot of mail gets lost, and your customer is not going to be understanding of the Postal Service losing something. They're not going to forgive. They're going to want their money back, and they're right to. So the best way to be successful in this kind of business is definitely grab some insurance. There's a lot of different places that do it. I gave you my example. I think all told, maybe $1,000 a year. It's not a huge amount, but it will protect you. So, kind of to wrap up here, I have the three things that I would like you to start with as you're thinking about starting a coin business. One, vision. Know what you want to do before you do it, and don't do that after, because as you're learning, you're going to learn the hard way. And I did, and that's why I'm making these is to try and help you not have those kind of terrible difficulties. The second is incorporate. Uh, Again, there's a lot of people that do a lot of off the side dealing, and don't report it, all that kind of stuff. If you want to have a legitimate business, you should incorporate, and I highly recommend it. Is it a pain to track all that stuff? Well, we'll get all into that, because it's not really a pain. You think it is. It's there's a lot of things that are set up for you to make this all very easy, and I can't wait to share those with you. You'll be surprised. So incorporate, and then the third is insurance. That's where I'd start. Okay. I'm not suggesting that you don't have any coins to sell or anything like that, but as a salesman or as somebody who's getting ready to sell coins, those are my first three steps. We're going to go over other steps. I'm going to introduce you to website design building, so that you understand how easy it is, how you can make it work for you. And then, we can even keep going. Search engine optimization, successful strategies on Instagram, YouTube, all of those things. So, thank you for joining me on this short session, and we will do more, and I will continue to upload. But please, like and subscribe, and then, give me your feedback. Hopefully that information was at least a good start, and maybe you can draw up some plans, or always feel free to reach out, email, text, whatever, and run some stuff by me. I'm happy to help, because I've definitely done the wrong thing before I did the right thing. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.